issue, and every gay person is different. And I think that to speak the church, the black church or white church or any kind of church you want to call it.
Wow, have you heard about the latest news? T.D. Jakes is getting some serious attention after CNN released footage of him hanging out with Sean Diddy Combs, who just got arrested on some pretty serious charges, including trafficking and racketeering. It's making a lot of people curious about what their relationship really looks like. Jakes is a big name, known for his influence in both the religious and entertainment scenes, and he's often seen at Diddy's lavish parties. With all this buzz going around, what do you think about the rumors surrounding these two? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
What about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and T.D. Jakes?
I'm looking at him as a...
Hey, have you heard about Sean Diddy Combs? He's been making headlines for some really serious stuff lately. On Tuesday, he was denied bail after facing federal charges like sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting people for prostitution. In a packed New York City courtroom, he stood before Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnowski and pleaded not guilty to all of it. This situation is grabbing a lot of media attention, not just because of the shocking allegations, but also because of Diddy's big name in the entertainment scene. What are your thoughts on all this drama? It's definitely one of those stories that's hard to look away from.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous.
So, things got really intense in the courtroom when they decided to deny bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors painted a pretty grim picture of him, saying he's a real danger to the community. They brought up the serious charges he's facing and his alleged attempts to obstruct justice. They also pointed out that Diddy's wealth makes him a significant flight risk, which played a big role in why they wanted him kept behind bars. One prosecutor even said, "This isn't just about the charges, it's about the lengths Mr. Combs has gone to in order to evade accountability." But hold on, it wasn't all one-sided.
Diddy's legal team, led by the sharp attorney Mark Agnifilo, pushed hard for his release on bond. Agnifilo argued that, yes, the charges are serious, but they don't really justify such extreme measures, especially since Diddy has strong ties to the community and has never tried to flee before. The defense emphasized his good reputation and how he's been cooperative throughout this whole process. What do you think will happen next in this dramatic legal showdown? It's definitely a situation that's tough to look away from.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest the guy who came to New York to turn him.
You won't believe this. Just a day before his big court day, Combs was out and about in New York with his family, looking really happy and relaxed. But then things took a serious turn when he pleaded not guilty in court. Despite his defense team really going to bat for him, Judge Tarnowski sided with the prosecution. The next day, Combs's lawyers tried to appeal the judge's decision, but sadly, it didn't work out, and he's still in custody. This denial of bail is a big deal. It shows just how seriously the court is treating this whole situation. As things continue to unfold, Combs is not only facing potential legal trouble, but also the impact of these allegations on his public image and career. With prosecutors eager to keep him locked up and his defense team ready for a long fight, this drama is definitely keeping everyone on their toes. After the tense hearing on Tuesday, Combs's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, stepped outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan and talked to reporters. He was all about defending his client, insisting on Combs's innocence. "He's been looking forward to this day," Agnifilo said, highlighting how determined Combs is to clear his name. It's clear that Combs and his legal team are gearing up for a battle that could be both lengthy and in the public eye. The charges against Combs were laid out in an eye-opening indictment that was revealed Tuesday morning, just after he was taken into custody. According to sources like CBS News, his arrest is part of a bigger investigation led by Homeland Security. The indictment brings to light some serious allegations dating back to 2008, showing that Combs might have been involved in a criminal organization with some heavy offenses. We're talking about forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction. The stakes are incredibly high, and everyone is watching. What do you think will happen next in this unfolding story? Wow, The accusations against Combs really paint a troubling picture of what he's allegedly been up to over the years. The recent indictment suggests he might have been a key player in orchestrating a bunch of criminal activities. And prosecutors are saying this is part of a bigger pattern tied to an organized crime network. It definitely complicates his legal situation even more. When they unsealed the indictment, it was a big moment in the investigation, and law enforcement said this has been in the works for years. Combs' defense team is really fighting hard to clear his name. But these serious charges are a huge challenge for him. As everything unfolds, it's not just about his legal troubles. It raises some serious questions about his legacy and what this means for his place in the entertainment world. At a news conference on Tuesday, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams from the Southern District of New York shared some more details about the case. He mentioned there are multiple victims involved, though he didn't give a specific number, and he encouraged anyone else who might have been affected to come forward. The allegations go back over a decade and suggest a pretty troubling pattern of behavior that prosecutors say started in 2009. According to the indictment, Combs is accused of repeatedly assaulting women, using violent threats and coercion to satisfy his desires and protect his image. It's claimed that from at least 2008 until now, he's been threatening and coercing victims to do what he wanted while trying to keep everything under wraps. Williams also pointed out that Combs allegedly used his extensive business empire to pull off a racketeering scheme, which helped him carry out these illegal activities disguised as part of his professional life. Authorities claim he even used videos from past encounters to blackmail his victims, forcing them into more questionable situations. As this whole saga unfolds, it's clear that the stakes are incredibly high. And everyone is waiting to see what happens next with Combs. What a wild situation.
They're claiming that Diddy, he was blackmailing his victims because he had videos from old freak-offs and he was using those videos to get his victims to do another.
Wow, the charges against Combs are really making waves. It's hard to believe how serious they are. The indictment suggests he might have used his power and influence not just to commit some pretty awful crimes, but also to dodge accountability. U.S. Attorney Williams didn't hold back, saying that there seems to be a clear pattern of abuse that Combs allegedly tried to hide to protect his reputation and his huge financial empire. So, what does this mean for Combs? CBS News legal expert Jessica Levinson jumped in with her take, and she laid it out pretty clearly. If he gets found guilty, we could be looking at decades in prison. That's a big deal. But here's the twist. She also mentioned that this might not even go to trial. Instead, we might see some negotiations for a plea deal, which could really shake things up in this unfolding story. As this legal drama unfolds, you can bet the spotlight on Combs is only going to get brighter. The stakes are super high, both in court and for his public image. Levinson pointed out that most cases don't go to trial. They end in a plea deal. So in the next days, weeks, or even months, you can expect Combs' lawyer and the federal prosecutors to be trying to find some common ground. But let's be real, it's tough to picture any deal that doesn't involve some time behind bars. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs lays out some pretty disturbing stuff, showing how he allegedly manipulated women into participating in these staged performances of sexual activity with men. As we watch this story unfold, everyone's left wondering, what's this going to mean for Combs' legacy, and what's next for this music mogul? Keep your eyes peeled, because this drama is just getting started. So, there are some pretty serious allegations floating around against Sean Diddy Combs right now. Prosecutors are saying that he was behind some really disturbing activities involving women and drugs being flown to different locations. The indictment paints a pretty grim picture, suggesting that he used a mix of coercion, drug distribution, and intimidation to control these women. Apparently, it wasn't just about handing out narcotics. He also allegedly manipulated their careers and dangled financial support over their heads, all while using threats to keep them in line. This isn't just a power trip. It looks like it's a whole system of exploitation that left these women feeling completely dependent on him, both personally and professionally. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams has been pretty straightforward in talking about this case, stressing just how serious it is. He made it clear that the investigation is still ongoing, and there could be more charges coming soon. Williams even hinted that other people connected to Combs might also face legal trouble, saying, "This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in trafficking, no matter how powerful, wealthy, or famous you may be." That really shows how committed the Southern District of New York is to getting to the bottom of this. And it gets even more complicated. The potential for additional charges suggests this could be part of a larger criminal enterprise that Combs has allegedly been involved with for years. It's not just about Diddy anymore. It raises some serious questions about the people around him and how deeply they might be tied up in all this. As the legal proceedings continue, there's a lot of anticipation about what new revelations might come to light. For those who aren't familiar, the indictment also references a troubling incident from 2016 that was caught on hotel security cameras. Earlier this year, CNN aired some pretty shocking footage that allegedly shows Combs attacking singer Cassie, who goes by Cassandra Ventura, right in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles. This disturbing footage really caught people's attention and added to the serious claims against him. After it aired, Combs publicly apologized, calling his behavior inexcusable and saying he takes full responsibility for that night. It's a big moment, and it really sets the stage for what could be a lengthy and revealing legal battle ahead. You know, this whole situation really opens up a can of worms about Combs' behavior and whether he's been held accountable over the years. The indictment paints a pretty troubling picture. Apparently, he even tried to bribe a hotel security staff member who stepped in during an altercation, asking them to keep quiet about what happened. It's like he's trying to manipulate the situation, which just makes things even murkier and suggests he's got a pattern of dodging responsibility for his actions. And get this, the indictment reveals that he referred to these incidents as freak-offs. Prosecutors say he didn't just orchestrate these encounters. He actually recorded them and used that footage to hold leverage over the victims. This kind of manipulation really feels like a calculated strategy to ensure everyone complies and doesn't speak up. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams didn't hold back either. He pointed out that Combs allegedly distributed controlled substances to these victims, exploiting their vulnerabilities and making them easier to influence. The indictment suggests he had a grip on them in all sorts of disturbing ways, using those embarrassing recordings of the freak-offs as collateral. Williams said this tactic of using private recordings as a form of coercion really highlights how calculated this intimidation was. The indictment also claims Combs controlled these individuals by providing drugs, threatening to cut off financial support or housing, promising career opportunities, keeping an eye on where they were, and even dictating how they looked. It paints a pretty chilling picture of someone abusing their power and resources to take advantage of others. The victims felt trapped, thinking they couldn't say no to Combs without risking their safety or facing even more abuse. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, Williams pointed out that prosecutors are accusing Combs of carrying or brandishing guns to intimidate and threaten both victims and witnesses. He mentioned that agents from Homeland Security investigations raided Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami back in March, finding firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. This raid came on the heels of another operation by federal authorities at Combs' Los Angeles mansion, which the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed is part of an ongoing trafficking investigation. With each new detail, it feels like the stakes just keep getting higher.
And this is the hotel where Sean Combs was arrested a week ago. You can now see how that arrest went down.
So this morning, something pretty wild happened. Federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. There's some video showing him walking into the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, just hanging out with a group, when suddenly, agents from Homeland Security Investigations swoop in and pull him aside. They arrest him right there and walk him out in handcuffs. His lawyer mentioned that Diddy actually came to New York a couple of weeks ago with the plan to turn himself in. But what he didn't expect was for the agents to be waiting for him at his hotel last Monday night. It's a pretty unexpected turn of events. Keep an eye on this story. It looks like there's more to come.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him.
A day earlier, Kolma seen out and about in New York with his family, seemingly in good spirits. Kolmas has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracies, trafficking, and other charges at the center of the case. This 2016 video obtained by CNN that depicts Kolmas attacking his then-girlfriend, the singer Cassie, and then dragging her back toward a hotel room. Federal prosecutors said the video is powerful evidence of how dangerous the hip-hop mogul could be to women, part of why 2 different federal judges denied him by.
It has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then...
You won't believe this. Just a day before his arrest, Combs was seen out and about in New York, having a great time with his family and looking pretty cheerful. But don't let that smile fool you. He's really in the thick of some serious legal trouble, having pleaded not guilty to charges like racketeering and trafficking. Things took a turn when a shocking video from 2016 surfaced, showing him in a pretty unsettling situation with his then-girlfriend, Cassie. In the footage, it looks like he's dragging her back toward a hotel room, which has raised some big red flags. Federal prosecutors are saying this video is solid proof of the risks he poses to women, and it's one of the reasons 2 federal judges decided to deny him bail. So, keep an eye on this story. There's a lot more to unravel.
When Combs first arrived at jail, he was monitored for that's common for any high-profile inmate, but his attorney says Combs is...
So there's a lot going on with Sean Diddy Combs right now, and it all boils down to this pretty shocking video from 2016 that CNN recently got their hands on. In it, you can see Diddy in a pretty disturbing situation with his then-girlfriend, Cassie, where he appears to drag her back toward a hotel room. Federal prosecutors are saying this video is strong evidence of how dangerous he could be to women, which is a big reason why 2 different federal judges have denied him bail. On top of that, Diddy's been facing quite a few lawsuits lately, with accusations of misconduct and violence that he and his team are firmly denying. Just last November, a woman filed a lawsuit against him for misconduct during their relationship, but after he denied everything, they reached a settlement the very next day. Now, as all this comes to light, TD Jakes is feeling the pressure. He's built this carefully polished image as a respected spiritual leader and a big name in the entertainment world. But now, with the release of that video, there's a risk of exposing some messy connections behind the scenes, especially with all the talk about his involvement in Diddy's parties. You can imagine he's worried that people might start questioning the shiny image he's crafted over the years. And then there's the thought of what would happen if Diddy decided to cooperate with authorities and start sharing details about their relationship. That could lead to a scandal that not only messes up Diddy's life, but could also seriously damage Jakes' reputation and the trust people have in him. You can sense the anxiety hanging in the air as he navigates these rocky waters. But Jakes isn't the only one feeling the heat. Pink recently found herself in the spotlight too. Fans noticed that her ex's old Twitter account seems to have disappeared entirely, which sparked a ton of speculation. People started to wonder if she deleted her tweets because of Diddy's arrest, which led to all sorts of rumors about any potential connections she might have with him. In an attempt to clear things up, Pink has put out a statement, but even after that, the questions are still swirling. What's really going on behind the scenes? So keep your eyes peeled because this whole situation is unfolding in ways we might not expect. There's definitely more to come. So it looks like Pink is really trying to clear the air regarding her connection to Diddy. She made it clear that her decision to wipe her Twitter account had nothing to do with his legal mess. And it's interesting because Usher is also under the microscope right now. Fans noticed that his ex's account disappeared right around the same time Diddy was arrested. People are buzzing. Could Usher be trying to distance himself from all this drama? To put those rumors to rest, Usher jumped in and reassured everyone that the missing tweets had nothing to do with Diddy, and that there are other reasons behind it. Both artists seem pretty keen to separate themselves from the chaos surrounding Diddy, each trying to keep their reputations intact amidst all the noise. Pink's situation is particularly noteworthy. She's really making an effort to distance herself from Diddy's legal troubles, which have ramped up since his arrest in New York after a grand jury indictment. Recently, she faced a lot of questions about her ties to him, especially after fans pointed out that her ex's Twitter account was completely cleared just as Diddy's issues were coming to light. To set the record straight, Pink took to her social media and emphasized that she actually cleaned up her account way back in February, long before Diddy's drama started. She even said, "I don't know why I became a headline this week, but I wiped my Twitter account on February 6th, which definitely sounds like she's trying to push back against those claims. She also added, "There is no truth to the rumors spread this week. While I've met people in passing, I'm not associated with any of the people mentioned." This really shows her commitment to protecting her image during this messy fallout from Diddy's situation. To back herself up, she even shared a screenshot of a tweet from February showing she had planned to wipe her ex's account. It seems like she's doing everything she can to quiet any doubts about her connection to Diddy and the surrounding scandal. As all this is happening, the entertainment world is buzzing with reactions to Diddy's growing legal problems. Pink's proactive approach definitely highlights her desire to step away from the drama. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is gearing up for his defense. His lawyer, Mark Ignam, recently revealed that Diddy plans to represent himself in his upcoming criminal trial. This case is grabbing a lot of attention from fans and the media, marking a big moment for Diddy as he faces serious charges, including trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And let's not forget the rumors about those so-called drug-fueled parties, known as freak-offs, along with other sexual assault allegations that have come to light recently. So, keep an eye on this story as it unfolds. There's definitely a lot of drama that's got everyone talking.
Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that,
The charges Diddy is facing are pretty heavy. It's not just going to affect his career, it could really change how people view his whole legacy. Just think about it. If he's convicted, we're talking about some serious time. The potential life sentence for racketeering is huge, and even the trafficking charge alone has a minimum sentence of 15 years. These aren't just casual allegations. This is a big deal for him, and could have a ripple effect in the entertainment world for a long time. Honestly, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Everything feels like it's on the line right now.